Today's episode is sponsored by NewAmsterdam.com.
Imagine a world where creatives always have a key to the city.
Use promo code 3PLAY and get 3 signature notebook ones for only $20.
That's THREEPLAY.
This and more are available exclusively at KNEWAmsterdam.com.
NewAmsterdam.com. Welcome, citizen. Hi, Jordan.
Hi.
How are you?
Trying to put my cup down quietly, not to disturb the dogs.
Right.
And she mounted the dismount. What is it? Oh, and she stuck the wait, what is it?
Yeah, stuck the landing
But
work.
what was the other one? The dismount. And she stuck the dismount?
Sure.
Mounted the dismount.
She mounted the dismount. No,
What is it then?
I don't know, but it's
I've
not
never done
that.
anything sport related, as you can tell. And she dunked the field goal. No, I'm just kidding. I know that's wrong.
I think that one's right. I think that one is exactly right.
Mike is cringing. Like, oh my God.
Yes, yeah. No, he's not, because he's not listening.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Called out. Never listens.
Mine neither. I did tell David most of the story that I was doing today. We were in the car and we were driving because I had to go buy shoes.
Yes. Oh, did you find shoes?
I did find shoes.
Oh, cool.
But I got through most of the story, and then his phone rang, and then he picked it up, and we were there. I was like, I'm just getting out. And so he never got to hear the end of the story, but he never asked about it again either, so it wasn't all that interesting.
Oh, I am sure I'll be more interested.
I was super excited about it, but
I'm
whatever.
excited about it.
Welcome to Crime Crazy, the weekly true crime podcast with Erin Plime.
And Jordan Middleton.
Who's rolling her eyes.
Yep, because we forgot.
Where we prove
that we know nothing about our legal system or our podcast, apparently. Because we're always late in saying the intro.
But we're still crazy for a good true crime story.
And we're here.
And
she
we're here.
mounted the dismount.
We are, yes. We are... Well, actually, I have no clue at all what episode we're on. I think we're on like 5 or something
it's
for
5.
this season. Awesome. Mm-hmm. And so it's like our third one in a row that we're not going to be late for.
I know. And if things did not go well today,
I was wondering if they weren't gonna get to do it
like,
this week.
I'll put the biggest apology out and be like, he's my baby. Just cry
Jordan's
about it.
puppy is having a hard time.
He is. So whatever you're into, praying, good vibes, Satanism,
making donations to vets.
A vet fund, hoodoo, whatever you got. Like,
Right.
I'm not judgmental
Frankie
right now.
needs some love.
He needs some goodness, and we need some bad luck off. So if you have like some weird satanic candle or
Yep.
a Bible verse, I'm either way at this point.
Right. Although if you have the, but well, either one of them, we don't have to hear about it, right? Like they
Well,
can
no,
just
just
do it in the privacy of their own home and
Well,
be like,
yeah. No,
hey, I
think
did the
that's-
thing.
Because I mean, I don't think people are like, yeah, I'll pray for you, and then they call you and they're like, hey, I'm gonna pray for you, so just listen up, okay?
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean?
You never went to my church that I went to growing up.
Oh, that's sad.
Because it was like, yeah, I'll pray for you in your home for 6 hours. Oh my God.
I'd be like, please leave.
Right.
Frankie doesn't like people, so I'd be like, you
Get
can
out.
you can stand on the front lawn.
Right. You can have a candlelight
Vigil.
on the front lawn for my dog.
Oh.
I was actually, because I wasn't sure even if things went well, which actually
Yeah.
they're up like
okay.
positive today. I was still not sure if we were going to record,
I
and so
know.
I was putting together ideas in my brain of how I was going to get an episode out.
It
anyway.
took me almost all day to get a story and write it, and I didn't even finish writing it until about 6:30.
Yeah,
Yep, that was an hour and a half ago.
yeah.
It's just I was so tired and emotionally drained, so I'm probably gonna mess up a lot this episode. So
You know what though? We're a couple minutes in, and you still have, well, with the exception of mounting the dismount.
I think that's a thing. Like I'm making
fairly
it a
certain
thing.
that's not a thing.
You know, in Mean Girls, how she's always like, "That's so fetch,"
Yeah,
and they're
it's
like,
never
"Fetch
gonna
is not
happen.
a thing. Stop trying to make it happen."
Yep.
So I'm going to get a shirt that says mount the dismount. And people are going to be like, oh, what does that mean?
I could make you a shirt that says mount the dismount.
Okay. But I need like a little, like I need a little picture that has nothing to do with it.
Like a basketball hoop.
Oh my gosh, that'd be funny. For some reason, I had like a croquet set in my head.
Or a croquet set. Both of those have nothing to do with mounting or dismounting.
True. Because a horse would be kind of funny.
It would, yeah. How about a horse like jumping through the football thing?
Oh, yeah. I was like a polo horse, but he's the one holding the stick.
In his mouth?
Oh,
Or
I
is
don't
he
know
standing
why.
on his
Yeah.
hind legs?
In my head, he was definitely on his hind legs.
Oh my God.
That's like, have you ever seen the picture of like, how do horses wear pants? Does it just go over the back 2 legs or all 4 legs?
Right.
I mean, I'm a back leg person. I think it goes on the back because pants
It's
cover your
covering
butt.
the junk.
Yeah.
Right.
But, you know, they are really all of his legs.
I think it goes over the back legs, and then he wears leg warmers on the front legs.
Yeah, kind of like shirt sleeves.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yep. All right. Well, now that we've got that out of the way, do you have any crime stories to tell us?
I certainly do.
I'm so
and-
excited.
I'm excited because I was reading this and I was like, oh, she's so sweet. And then I was like, ooh, no, she's not.
You have a she?
I have a she.
Mine's a she.
Really?
Yes.
My last story is not a she, but that one's still juicy. This one is like, we're kicking it old school, like way, way back.
How far back?
Like, if we have the same story.
I know. That's why I'm looking at you suspiciously.
Wait,
How far
so
back?
like 1900s. Like,
Oh, no. Mine
like-
is way more recent. But I just didn't know how far back was old school because mine is like the 70s.
that's probably what old school should mean.
Right.
But here I am thinking that, you know, over 100 years ago, it's still.
Oh my God, that is over 100 years ago. In my brain, it's not.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Some things that she did was like 100 years ago.
Wow.
I know.
So, okay, so just one quick I'm old story.
Mm-hmm.
So, Tyler needs a job.
Well,
Hey,
yes.
world, Tyler needs a job.
True.
So my mom texts and she's like, the local produce store that I used to work at when I was in high school is going to open. They have they're closed for 3 months in the winter. So
Yeah.
they're going to open again this month. And so this would be a great opportunity for Tyler to go and apply. And the problem with that is they're not open yet. And of course they don't have a website because of where we live. And so there's not, their phone number that's listed is the one that rings in the produce store. So there's not a good way to get in touch, except for the fact that that family, you can find them. It's not that hard to do. So Tyler went on Facebook and he was like, hey, how do I apply here? That was his message. That's his attempt at applying. And so I was telling my mom that it was frustrating. I don't want to do it for him. He is 19 years old.
He needs to do it himself.
Anyway, so
I was a
here's the
store
old-
manager at 19.
Yeah.
I worked my way up to be a store manager.
I was at 19. I was getting married.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are still really big life decisions.
They are, yes. So the old part of the story is she's like, well, how did you apply when you were there? I was like, well, it said on their marquee outside that they were hiring. And then I think I called and I went in and interviewed in person. That was it.
Yeah.
I said, but Mom, that was 20 years ago. The process may be different now.
Oh my gosh. Did your mom forget?
It was so painful to be that was 20 years ago.
Mom.
I
Mom.
know.
That's, yeah. I won't say anything because I don't want to rub it in at all.
20 years ago, I was in diapers. That's what she's thinking.
Probably. Well, no, I was 5. I potty trained real early. But
She's I was not in diapers at 5.
I was acting crazy at 5 for sure.
Crazy like my 2-year-old.
Oh, yeah.
I just heard a big old thump upstairs in their bedroom. The 2-year-old's been asleep for 3 hours now. So hopefully she's
Good
still
Lord.
asleep.
We need prayers for that, too.
Yeah.
Okay.
All
Are you
right.
ready to hear this story?
I am so ready to hear this story that took
I'm
place
somewhat
well
ready to
before I
tell
was
it.
born.
So I'm going to give you a little backstory on our little angel. She's our angel. Okay. So she was born in the 1870s. So like,
Oh, okay.
so that's why I was like old.
So 100 years before my crime took place.
Yeah. She was born in Morse Mill, Missouri. And I've never been to Missouri.
Morse Mill?
Morse Mill.
Morse Mill, Missouri. That's fun to say.
It's a lot of M.
Mama.
She was one of 10 children.
Oh,
Which
that's a lot of kids.
I feel like every story I tell from like a really old time period that there were like hundreds of kids.
Well, not literally hundreds of kids.
I know. Oh man, my pen.
Did you just break your pen?
But not like the pen, just the stylus part.
Oh.
I'll stop fiddling. So yeah, she was one of 10. I couldn't figure out where she placed in that because I feel like that would really make a difference, because either you're going to be taking care of the other almost 7 kids, because like the older few are probably the ones taking care. But anyway, I couldn't figure that out. Then I'm just kind of going quick through her life. Then she married a man named what's his name? Henry Graham.
Okay.
And they had one daughter named Lila.
Hey, that's my dog's name.
I know, that's why I wrote it down. I was just gonna be like, I had one daughter, but then I saw it was Lila. I was like, I gotta write that.
You've said her name twice now, and she's not even paying any attention whatsoever.
She doesn't care about me.
Lila.
She says,
Oh,
yeah,
there you
Mom. And then Zoe looks.
So he's like, don't talk to her.
So then Graham died. That was her first husband. And then she remarried a man named Eugene Gifford.
Oh.
And
She didn't want to change her initials. She had monogram everything. So.
I thought the same thing. Then, let's see, they had a son together, and his name was James. So, kind of strange. I'm just going to touch on it because it's not our, like, official crime of this story. But her first husband died of, like, a mysterious ailment. And it was said that she had met Eugene before her first husband had died. And it just all kind of fell some kind of way. So, just saying. So, shifty eyes, I put in asterisks.
You didn't draw them?
How do I draw shifty eyes?
I don't know.
Now you know why I wrote
like
it.
Lowered brows? Side
then it
eye?
would just look like mean face. Like,
maybe.
see?
I don't know.
Now you know why I just wrote
I'll
shifty
research
eyes.
this.
So then her and Gifford moved to Catawissa, Missouri.
Catawissa.
I hope I'm saying that right.
I have no clue.
I have no clue either. I've never been to Missouri, so I don't really know anything about it.
What was the first place?
Morse Mill.
Morse Mill.
Morse Mill. And this is Catawissa.
Okay.
Or Wisa? Catawissa?
Somebody
Somebody knows.
us, because that one, I feel it. I can tell.
That's
Somebody's
fine.
going to be like, actually, you say it this way.
Yeah, that's like certain places it's Lancaster, and other
Yes.
places it's Lancaster.
Yeah.
And I'm like, guys, I don't know. I'm just trying to read.
Yeah.
So then that's where she started her whole life with him and their son, and she started this whole Good Samaritan lifestyle.
Okay.
Yep.
What does that mean, a good Samaritan life?
Well,
She
we're
just
gonna-
volunteered a lot?
Oh, we're gonna touch on this.
Why do I ask you questions? The answer is always, oh, we're going to get there.
Well, yeah, because it's the next line.
Well, it's because I just,
Do that.
I
Your mom's like, it's because you interrupt her. That's what your mom's saying right now. So she would often go to sick people's homes in the community and cook and care for them. She would make them food or home remedies or whatever. So she was known as this little saint that would go around and help anyone in the drop of a hat and care
also
for
known
them.
as a good Samaritan. The look that I just got was a
The more
combination
you know.
of like, oh, you're so smart, and I'm going to throw something at your eyeball.
And I only have a pen in my hand, so a broken one at that.
You have the worst luck with podcast pens.
Oh, tell me about it. Oh, don't even get me started. R.I.P.
You should
pen.
order Crime Crazy pens. Okay,
No, because I would need to test one first.
Okay.
Okay. Hi, can we order one pen?
One. We need to see.
I just need to see. Let's see. Okay, so then she started building this reputation for herself as, like, it was talk around the town that, oh, she was a really good cook, and she was kind of like the next best thing to a nurse for people's homes. Like, yeah. So she would go and do these recipes that everyone seemed to love, like home cooking, and then home remedies, which in that time I feel like not everyone could afford the medicine that was available, and there was a lot of disease and sickness.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like any home remedy we're gonna try because we
Absolutely.
probably won't have anything
Well, and
else.
medicine is only a step above that anyway. At that time.
So that's why I was like, well, and she'll help us, and she'll stay here and care for our sick kid or grandma, grandpa, whoever. So that is what she started doing. But she was very official at what she did. She would keep a log and keep people's temperatures, and like food intake, water intake, medication, home remedy, whatever they got. Like, she kept a very strict log about everything. So that made people feel better.
Yeah.
Because then it's like, oh, she really is keeping track. I literally put, so she looked hella good. But quite a few children died under her care. But at the time, most kids, especially sick kids, had a disease or several. Right. And it was hard to kind of, I don't want to say fix them. That's why you had
so many kids.
But
because that was not abnormal.
All I could think of is the Oregon Trail.
Oh my god.
When your kids just die all the time.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, that's tragic.
Sorry, I for real thought Kit Kat was behind me. That was weird. You have a ghost in your house. She has to be behind me.
What is...
I can hear her under the chair or something. Or behind. And I swear
the curtain's moving.
Yes.
Maybe it's the woman from the bench.
Do not get me started on that.
You're going to jump out of that chair.
I'm not ready for this. Tell my
daughter
family
can
I love them.
Ghosts.
Yeah. Yes, every day she sees the same bench and trees and flowers and says, what's that lady doing? And I look, I'm like, there's no lady. And then recently I'm like, is the lady there?
Right. Well, and the lady's on the bench
and
right next
she's
to like
in
the
the
memorial
tree.
Flowers. Oh, she's in the tree.
One time she's kind of in the tree. I'm like, okay, get me out of here. But
that
okay, so if
weird.
I die, this will be my last story. Thank God.
Wait a second.
This will be my last story, and it's about a freaking old lady who's an angel, and I haven't even told you the end.
Oh. Okay.
This will be my last story. So thank God, because get it, she could take care of me.
Gotcha.
No?
Yeah, but I hear she's not an angel.
Well, if I'm already dead, she can't kill me. Okay. But in 1917, see what I mean?
Yep.
Okay.
That's more than 100 years ago.
Okay, you got me though. Two healthy, loosely said, middle-aged men died, and they were under her care, under her name, however you want to say this. So Sherman Pounds died while staying in her house. That I put AKA, but it was mentioned and like I listed as the Catawissa, sorry guys, I don't know what I'm saying, House of Mystery. So people stayed there. If she couldn't stay at their house to care for them, she would bring them into her home.
But they were healthy. So why was she staying there?
So that's why I said healthy middle-aged men. So the one, hold on, wait. Okay. My mic is literally my way of my notes. So the one was there. Okay, hold on. I'm going to make sure I get this right. So it was like they were healthy, but they were not healthy in that way. So there was one that like hired help. There was one that was healthy in a sense of not sick and dying. He was just like, okay. But I guess that this is...
So they were strong and expected to make a recovery,
well,
not on their deathbed?
Yeah, I think it was because they said healthy and they kept putting quotation marks around it. And I was like, okay, so healthy... Well, I know some of the men that ended up staying at her house were hired help, which I get.
Okay.
But...
Is she still married? What happened? Wait.
Yeah.
Okay.
The whole time. I mean, they never talk about the husband or the son, but yeah,
Okay.
it's like they never.
So, all right, that's maybe a little less weird. Like maybe they, I don't know, rent it out or trade lodging for work.
That might be it. That's why they said healthy. Maybe that's why, because they couldn't prove that they were sick or healthy, but they weren't staying there for health reasons. Maybe that's what they meant. I know the one.
So they were like lodgers or something.
Yeah.
Quarters.
So the second one. So the first one was Sherman. The second one, or Sherman Pounds. That's such a great name. The second one was Jim Ogle. I have no idea, guys. Ogle. He died after a dispute over money because he was a hired, like a handyman.
Oh.
And then he died.
Oh.
And I was like, no one considered that murder or like worth an investigation. No one looked into it.
Right.
So I was like, what is happening here? But we always have stories where police don't do what they should. So
and this was a long time ago.
So I was like, oh, they just probably didn't care. So Sherman Pounds,
like, whatever, he was just a handyman.
Yeah. So sorry. So this was in 1917. Those two men died. So Sherman Pounds' 3-year-old granddaughter also died under her care in 1922. So I was like, if that's where your grandpa or your dad died,
why are you there?
Why are you there? But I think that's because she hid it so well about what was actually going on.
Well, and if she's like one of the only people, that's what you're hearing. There's fireworks out there.
No, that is fireworks, but there was something definitely under my chair. But why are there fireworks?
Is it a holiday? What's happening?
I don't get it.
I don't think it's a holiday.
It's not. Yeah, President's Day. Like, no.
That was a week ago.
That's so strange. I'm so confused. But
yeah, I don't
anywho.
know.
So now I'm going to die from something a ghost or a cat or now fireworks. So great, people. Let me get this story out before you don't know the end.
So what I was going to say was that maybe if she was, there wasn't a whole lot of medical care and she had a really good reputation and then
she was like popular in counties around where she actually lived.
Yeah.
And she was known for like dropping everything and running to them as soon as they needed her. Like they said she would hop in her car and go there any type of weather, any time of night. And even before she had her car, she had her little horse and buggy and she'd go over there. And I was like, that's how she got the reputation, because she would drop everything and run over to you.
Yeah.
And one of the things said that she would tell the mothers of the children, like, now that I'm here, you need to go rest, because then when you wake up, it'll be your turn, and you need to be fully rested for that. And that gave people a sense of like, okay, I can take it easy because you're going to care for my kid and I don't have to worry about it. So
granted,
yeah,
kid's probably going to die in the middle of the night.
Yeah. So, yeah, pretty much. So the 3-year-old granddaughter also died while staying there in 1922. And then a 7-year-old Irene died under her care in 23. You can tell that like after a certain time period, then it was like tracked easier. Before it was just kind of like random kids. Or random people, I should say. It wasn't just kids. So then, okay, so that was 23. And 1925, Ethel, I don't know how to say this last name, Shamel?
Sure.
And her 2 sons and another relative all died within a few months.
Of reportedly the same thing?
So this is the turning point, this family.
Okay.
So that was in 25. In 27, Ed Brinley, a farmhand, died. So then finally, rumors of her involvement with literally everyone's death came to light, and people started believing it, and they started an investigation. And the 2 brothers, the Shamel brothers and Brinley, the farmhand, they exhumed them and did like autopsies and stuff.
Yeah.
And all 3 were found with large amounts of arsenic.
Huh.
I know.
So, okay.
So that was what she was doing. And what?
Nothing. Just keep going.
No, what?
No. So, well, okay. I do have a question though.
Okay.
When were they first able to test for arsenic poisoning?
That
seems so early.
But that's why I was like, okay. But she went to the store and bought it all the time and told them it was for her, like, to poison rats in the barn.
Sure.
So whatever. So the last 3 bodies from her, let's see, we're in 25 and 27, and I think it was still a year later. What was it? Yeah, so that 27 was the year that they ended up exhumed and they found all the arsenic, but I don't know how they tested for that.
Well, it's in the blood, right? Or in the liver or something.
I mean,
it's a heavy metal. It stays in your body.
Yeah.
1836 was when
Wow.
they first... Oh, wait. Hold up. No. Yeah. Marsh test. 1836 was when they first came up with a way to do it. So they
could have tested literally all of her victims.
Yeah.
Because that test was made before she was born.
Right.
So
right.
she literally...
they could have.
They
if
could
they
have.
had known that that's what... Or if they'd suspected.
So then the
that's what was going
clerk
on.
at the store was like, oh, yeah, she's been in here for years getting rat poisoning. Like, that's
Right.
just what she always buys. And...
Easy to mix into
They-
food. Oh, wait,
yeah.
that's...
Yeah. So that's what they were like, okay, so she must have mixed it in the food, and that's why she had such a reputation for being a cook, because she would make kids really sweet, fun things to eat, so they wouldn't be like, oh, it tastes yucky, I don't want to eat it. And
Right.
so-
Well, but I think it's pretty flavorless anyway.
yeah, so she said that, well, not she said, but the article I was reading was saying that it was so, she tried to make fun, sweet,
So that they would eat
child-appealing
it.
meals, even if you're sick, like, oh, but I made this special for you, and whatever. So that's how she
That's
did that.
sick.
Yep. And she went to trial in 28, which was the next year, for only 2 of the murders, which was weird, because not only did they take, dig out 3 bodies,
Right.
but she only was taken for 2 of them, when I'm sure they knew about all the other people under her care that mysteriously died.
Yeah.
So that's what her, like, victim count goes anywhere from 2 to 48.
Oh,
Yeah.
holy smokes.
Yeah. That there was this one article, this woman kept saying, like, anytime she hears a bell ringing of, like, someone sick, she's the first one there, and she's the one to cry the hardest, and she attended every funeral, and, like, she really liked it. Like,
That's sick.
she would, like, I guess, I don't it's like kill them, but poison them at the first thing in the morning before the family really started waking up. So then, or the other article said that she would kill them in the middle of the night, not tell the family, but call doctors and police and everything first.
Oh, right.
And
so
then-
she could be the one.
Yeah.
So is that like essentially Munchausen's by proxy?
That's why I was like, she was so effed up, though, because they said that she was always the one crying the hardest in the room. She was
Yeah.
always the center of attention at the funeral, and she always made sure it went exactly how she wanted it to.
Right.
So she really
That's so
liked
awful.
that. But so even though it was only for 2 murders, she was found criminally insane.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah. So she was committed to a state mental hospital and actually died in 1951.
Wow.
Yep. I was like, dang, girl. Like, she was doing all this in her 50s.
Right.
So, yeah.
Wow.
I know. I was like, dang, it's like a grandma gone bad.
And that's a lot of potential victims. I imagine. Well, I don't know, because like you were saying, you also did just have people who just died very easily because
Yeah.
there wasn't a lot of good medicine, and she's the one treating them. They're probably not also under the care of a doctor. So she could have killed all those people.
Yeah.
Or I bet it was one of those things where, like, the first several died and she got a taste for it, and then she was like, now I'm gonna
Yep.
poison people.
But that's why I said shifty
craziness.
eyes with her husband mysteriously dying.
Yeah.
And then she got her second husband.
Ooh.
So that's why I was like, maybe she did do it all.
Yeah.
I mean, she could have just pushed them along if they were already dying, or if they were getting better, then she really pulled the rug out underneath them.
Yeah, no kidding. Or like the ones that were just totally healthy and died anyway.
Yep. Wow. Because of money or whatever. But yeah, so that was my crazy serial killer woman.
Yeah, crazy prolific.
Yeah.
That's a lot of bodies.
Yes.
All right. Well, I have a story about a woman too.
I'm excited.
Hang on one sec. Imagine a world where creatives always have a key to the city.
Use promo code 3PLAY and get 3 signature notebook ones for only $20.
That's THREEPLAY.
This and more are available exclusively at knewamsterdam.com.
NewAmsterdam.com. Welcome, citizen. All right, so I'm going to tell you my story, and I'm really excited because after I tell you my story, then I get to show you my pretty pictures.
Oh my gosh.
Because I bullet journaled the heck out of it.
Yep.
Okay, mine is also a woman.
I'm excited.
I know, but way later. Because she was born in 1943. Oh, her name is really funny. So, her name that people would know her by now. What?
Did I ever tell you my girl's name? I don't even remember saying it because I was cracking up because I love this name. Her name is Bertha.
Oh, Bertha Jorkins? Maybe not. Bertha
Gifford, but Bertha,
okay.
well, just in general, Bertha cracks me up.
That's funny. No, you sure didn't. And
that's so funny.
Because you always, like, I always start my story with a name, and you always start your story with, like, something else.
Yeah.
And then, like, the name comes later. Like, interesting.
Bertha. Sorry, guys. Continue.
Okay. Well, my lady's name is Judy Bueno Año.
Bueno Año?
Yes. But that's not what she was born.
Oh.
So she was born Judy Welty.
Much better.
Okay. So Judy Welty, born in Texas, until the age of 4, she lived with her 2 older siblings, her mom and her dad, and her baby brother, Robert. I mean, of course, the baby brother wasn't there when she was born. But once he was born.
Childhood.
Yes. But when she was 4, her mom died.
Oh.
And so Judy and Robert both were sent to live with her grandparents just for a little while because then Dad remarried. And then they went back home to live with the new stepmom and now also 2 stepbrothers and the dad and the 2 older siblings.
Okay.
So now there are 6 kids, 2 parents. Later, she claimed that they starved her and that was the reason that at 14 years old, she attacked the dad, the stepmom, and the 2 stepbrothers and ended up going to jail for it.
Oh.
It didn't say, I don't think that she killed them.
Okay.
It sounded like she just attacked them.
Okay.
It was just an altercation. I don't know if anyone died, but it doesn't really matter because that's not what this is about.
Okay.
So when she got back from jail, she went to reform school until she graduated in 1960. And then in 1961, she gave birth to a son with an unknown father.
Okay.
The son's name was Michael, so Michael Welty.
Of course.
Then in 1962, she married an Air Force officer named James Goodyear. And now you get it.
What?
Okay. So, she and Michael moved to Orlando with James. Mm-hmm. They had a son and a daughter together. So then it was son, daughter, Michael, Judy, James.
Yeah.
Okay. In 1971, so James was Air Force, so he goes off to war. So in 1971, he gets home from Vietnam. And he starts to just develop these very strange symptoms. And in a relatively short span of time, they have to hospitalize him. Aww. And then he dies.
Oh.
And so I think they just kind of all wrote it off as like, you know, maybe something that he picked up when he was in another country. Or maybe it was whatever. So she collects the insurance, the life insurance for that so that she can still support her 3 kids now. Yeah. And Then, very shortly after, her house catches on fire and burns to the ground. And no one is injured, but she collects insurance on the house.
Yep.
So, after the fire, she legally changes her last name and Michael's last name from Welty to Bueno Año because she apparently thinks that that's Spanish for good year, which it is, but not really.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know if she changed the other two kids also. I don't know. So, in 1972, so only a year later, she starts dating a guy whose name is Bobby Joe Morris, which Bobby Joe sounds like a girl's name to me, but whatever. They end up getting engaged and married in 1977. They moved to Colorado. Mm-hmm. He also develops some mysterious symptoms. He has to be hospitalized, but then they send him home.
Okay.
However, 2 days later, he collapses. They take him back to the hospital where he dies.
Oh my God.
So she collects the life insurance money.
She's good at this.
Yeah. So
did she burn that house down too?
She did not. She did not.
She's slipping up.
Yeah. So several years after husband number 2 dies, and she never changed her name to Morris or any of her children. So several years after Bobby Joe Morris dies, Michael, her oldest son, who's just her son, joins the Army. And he is going to be stationed at Fort Benning, Georgia. Mm-hmm. But he decides that before he goes off to either boot camp or I don't know if he's completed boot camp and that's where he's going to live or whatever, he's going to go spend some of his time with Mom. So he goes and visits her. And then he goes off to Fort Benning. Well, when he first gets there, he starts to get these strange symptoms. And they're like, it's almost like he's come in contact with something or he's being poisoned. And so they do blood work. And guess what?
No, is that why you're laughing?
Yes.
Oh my God.
They find high levels of arsenic
Holy
in his
shit,
blood.
This is pretty much the closest we're going to get to doing the same story.
The same story.
Holy
I know you started
crap.
saying that and I was like, I can't keep a straight face.
Oh my gosh.
So, several weeks later, after they discover that he has lots of arsenic in his blood, his muscles in his arms and his legs have atrophied so terribly that they have to put him in metal braces just so that he can walk.
Oh,
and so they discharge him because he can't be in the Army anymore, and they send him home to live with his mother.
Nope. Right. I'd be like, send me anywhere else. Literally.
Yeah, but no one
knew.
No one has any idea. And he certainly doesn't suspect his mom. I mean, she's been the only person to take care of him his whole life. And she does. She takes care of him because by May of 1980, he's still in relatively the same condition. He hasn't died of poisoning. And so Judy decides that she is going to just randomly take Michael and James, who is her oldest son with the second
James,
with the first husband, right? So he's James the second. Out canoeing. So they're out canoeing in a river and the canoe flips over. And so James and Judy swim to the shore. And Michael, who's in metal braces, is dragged to the bottom where he drowns to death.
Oh, no one thought to grab him? I mean, I'm sure they did it on purpose.
Yeah.
But.
No. Yeah. And I don't know exactly how old. So James has to be at least, 9 by this point because he was born before his dad died. And it's been 9 years since his dad died.
Yeah.
So, but he may have still been a relatively little kid.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. So, after the death of her son, Judy goes and she opens a beauty salon. And she starts to date a man named John Gentry. And in 1982, they get engaged. And she's like, hey, if we're going to be engaged and married, we really need to take out life insurance policies on each other. I've had some bad luck in the past, and I would hate for anything to happen to either of us and leave the other one. She's like, not only that, but I have had bad luck with husbands. I had 2 that just kind of died. They got sick and they died. And so I want you to be healthy. I don't want to ever have to collect this life insurance. I need you to take these vitamins.
Oh.
Uh-huh. So John Gentry takes the vitamins, and wouldn't you know it, by December of 82, he's sick. And They take him to the hospital.
Oh my God.
And he recovers
Oh, good.
while he's in the hospital.
And then he goes home.
Because exactly, because he's not taking the vitamins in the hospital. And yet it never occurs to him or anyone else to link the two. And so when he gets better, they send him back home and he never suspects a thing. Okay. So then 1983,
Okay.
matter of months later, Gentry is driving to the liquor store and his car explodes. Yup.
Oh my God. This lady's intense.
And yet he doesn't die.
He's cool.
So at this point, of course, with the exploding car, the police get involved and they start to kind of poke around and they somehow come across these arsenic vitamins that she's been feeding him.
Well.
And they're like, this is really sketchy. And now that we think about it, there's been a lot of deaths in her past as well.
Yep.
And let's dig some of those bodies up. So this is so much like your story.
Yes.
So they exhume Michael, James Goodyear, and Morris. Wow.
Yes.
And
So Michael, her son.
her first husband, James, her second husband,
Gentry.
Morris. Gentry is the boyfriend.
Oh,
Is the
yeah.
Fiance who was poisoned and then his car exploded and he still didn't die. He's like a cat with like 9 lives. So they, of course, find arsenic in everybody's blood.
Yep.
So, which I mean, they knew that they would find it in Michael.
Yeah.
So I'm not really sure why they needed to dig him up. Like they knew it was there. He had blood work done when he was alive. And his cause of death was not
It was definitely
mysterious.
drowning.
It was drowning, right?
Yeah.
So, and it was drowning and not in a particularly mysterious fashion, because if you're wearing big, heavy pieces of metal and you have very little muscle mass, then of course
you should go
gonna drown.
canoeing.
Well, yes, that too. So now with this evidence in 1984, they convict her. Or actually, 1984 and then 1985, there are a couple of trials. So they end up convicting her of the murders of Goodyear and Michael. They convict her of the attempted murder of Gentry. They do not convict her of Morris's murder for whatever reason. They also convict her of grand theft because she got $240,000 in insurance. They also convict her of arson. So some of that was the house insurance. So I don't know if there was some sort of confession or if it was just like, you know what, let's throw everything at her we possibly could, because those are very not connected.
Yeah.
So she gets 12 years for the attempted murder of Gentry. She gets life in prison for the murder of her son.
Good.
And she gets death for the murder of her first husband.
Oh.
So once this happens, they really are still kind of poking around, and they start to suspect her in a 1974 murder in Alabama. And I'm not sure whose murder that was, but they think that she was involved. And then also she had a boyfriend, I think right after her second husband, but before Gentry.
Okay.
And he died. His name was Gerald Dossett. And they suspect that she was involved with that too. But they don't ever take it to court. They never really look into it because at this point she's been sentenced to death. There's no point in spending any money on it. So in 1998, at the age of 54, they execute her by electric chair. She is the...
I didn't even know they still did that.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, they did that even here in Virginia until surprisingly recently.
Yeah.
Like, I want to say, I don't know, 80s, 90s?
Dang.
It was not that long ago. So she is one of the first women, or she was the first woman to be executed in Florida after they reinstated the death penalty, because I guess Florida had no death penalty for a while. And she was only like the third woman ever to be electrocuted, and like just, so she has all of those claims to fame as well. But oh my God, we both did arsenic
I
poisonings.
know. That's so weird. I don't even know what led me to do lead.
Another heavy metal.
I know. But I don't even know how I ended up on poison.
I literally Googled obscure serial killer and came across an article, and she was like the first one. I was like, okay, that's the one I'm doing.
I know I looked at a bunch of things, and then because I was looking up kids poisoning something or something. I always put random keywords,
right,
and then see what comes up. And a lot of it was Halloween candy, and they were like, no, that's fake. No one's actually had poison Halloween
or with
candy.
razor blades.
Yes.
And
it's so funny because Snopes comes up now.
Yes.
And they're like, no.
Right. Stop saying these things.
And then I was just I took away kid, and it was poison something. And then she came up in a list of 12 others.
Nice.
Yep.
Nice.
That's crazy. My last story has nothing to do with it.
Okay. Then... yeah, I don't have a last story because it's your week, so we can't possibly match on this one.
So I didn't write it down because it's that short. It's just a little funny thing. So I figured I would just read it to you. And then, of course, I'm not going to know how to sound out this name, so.
Cool.
Okay, so this article was from February 16th, 2014. I'm assuming it happened sometime close to this. Sorry. So...
I like that you're I didn't research anymore.
No, I just read this article and thought it was hilarious. So that was at the end of my research. I'm just going to read this to you.
Okay.
There's really no denying the creativity of children, but this might be taking it too far.
Oh, no.
A 10-year-old boy from Norway stole his parents' car while they were sleeping and attempted to drive himself and his 18-month-old sister to their grandparents' house 68 miles away.
Wow.
After driving a little more than 6 miles, the boy veered off the road where he was spotted by a snowplow driver who called the police. According to Bard Christiansen of this police district, because I am not going to try to pronounce all this, the boy told the snowplow driver that he was a dwarf and that he had left his driver's license at home. How creative is that?
That is actually pretty fantastic. How old was he?
10.
Okay. One of my first driving memories is not being able to tell my grandmother which way to turn on the one road in our town with stoplights on it to get to Walmart from my house. I just didn't know because I never paid any attention. I cannot imagine. I cannot fathom getting in. I mean, maybe did he have GPS? How was he going to get there?
And not even knowing where he was going, but knowing what to do in the car.
Yeah.
You really had to look at what, but okay, so let's keep reading.
Oh, there's more.
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
I'm ready.
So, yes, that he was a dwarf and he had left his driver's license at home. The parents woke up and discovered that the children were missing and that someone had taken off with their car. They were pretty upset, as you can imagine.
Yeah.
Luckily, neither child was injured and in the accident, nor was there any damage done to the car. But then what was he? The police district guy. He said, he said, I'm pretty sure the parents are going to pay very close attention to both their children and where their car keys are in the future.
Yeah.
But I was reading something, and there was another boy around his age who had constantly stole his parents' car when they weren't looking, and that he thought it was hilarious because he knew how to drive the car.
Right.
But can you imagine having to study to figure out okay, I have to put my foot on the brake to turn the key to even get the key in the ignition.
Right.
Depending on what kind of car it is, new or old, that changes everything now.
But
I can't.
Do you think that they let him drive on a dirt road, or he had some sort of vehicle that worked very similar to a car?
He
must have had practice to make it 6 miles.
Yeah. And he wanted to go 68 miles.
Yeah.
To Grandma and Grandpa's.
In the snow, apparently.
With his baby sister.
with his baby sister. That is terrifying.
Yes.
When those parents woke up and discovered their kids and car were gone, they
yeah.
must have thought somebody kidnapped them.
Oh
my God. My house is trying to kill Jordan today.
I have to go. Goodbye. Signing off.
We have these stupid McDonald's Peter Rabbit toys, and the one that you push down and then there are 4 red buttons. If your kid gets that one, hand it right back through the drive-through window and be like, give me a better toy.
Thank God the one that shoots the carrots wasn't armed. What if he shot at me?
It just doesn't work.
Bounced on its own and scared the shit out of me.
Dove. It was like, that was such a terrible story. I'm going to dive right off the table.
Dramatic. Oh, God.
You
that
didn't
was
even
so
bump
scary.
the table. He just must have been that's hilarious.
Oh, my God.
That was so great.
But yeah, that was my little crime. This 10-year-old little crime.
Ha ha ha.
Because
you're so punny today.
I know. It's because I'm tired.
Yeah.
It's better this way than like the bratty way. I either get really like dumb and funny, or I get really bratty and mean.
Well, I'm really glad that you're dumb and funny.
Thanks.
I totally am feeling you on the tired thing. I don't have any good excuse, but I did not
and after
sleep.
this I'm gonna go home and I have to cook dinner still.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
After this I'm gonna go upstairs and watch Criminal Minds and crochet.
Sounds nice. We're gonna watch Live PD because oh my gosh, I was cracking up. Live PD's been killing me lately. It's so funny.
Do you have a DVR?
No.
How are you going to record Live PD for me? Because I never get to watch it and you talk about it all the time.
You could just come over and watch it.
It is so late.
No, but like on
so
like
tired.
Saturdays, they play it like randomly all day long on the channel, like reruns and stuff.
Right.
And I think they have it on demand, and it's 3 hours long. So even if you watch some of it, it's funny.
Mm-hmm.
So, and sometimes they have like.
Well, originally I
Live PD.
was supposed to be at your house today.
I know. That's why Mike was like, "Wait, you're leaving?" I was like, "Yeah." Everything got confused. I was like, "But I'm going over there now."
Right. Everything has changed.
Yes. But
I might actually go upstairs and edit this podcast tonight because it is not Monday night.
Mm-mm.
And it is always Monday night when I edit the podcast. So
Agreed.
I might do it. If I do it, then I'll have to like reward myself somehow. So, I'm going to hope that by this point everyone knows that arsenic poisoning is really easy to detect.
Yeah.
And it's not a good murder weapon. Like that's going to be something they look for right away if there's a suspicious death.
Oh,
However,
don't end up on next week's episode. I had to say it dramatic.